Welcome back to a new week of possibilities. This week we're gonna go hard on the Blazer. We're not gonna get distracted by anything else. So I don't think this is going to be done this week, but I want to get pretty far this week. So we're gonna put in the hours. So besides that, I can show you that something is missing out here. And that is that the 75 Chevelle Shelly is sold. It has gone away to a new owner, which it is a bit sad, but also it's really relieving that it is gone. I have gotten some money and I can focus on other stuff. So not going to be any more of that car. Besides that, I hopefully have sold something else. I'm not saying that I have sold it, because I am selling it to a friend that has said to me that he is buying it, but no money has changed hands yet. But I will be selling my two-wheel drive Suburban, which is a bit sad, but I really feel that I'm never gonna sell my truck, and it is just sitting right now when I'm driving the Suburban, so it feels a little bit unnecessary. And also we are redoing or fixing our upper floor on our house, and unfortunately that eats a lot of money. So to get that headache out of my head, I want to sell the Suburban so I can fix our over top floor. And yeah, I get one headache out of my head with the house, and also there is one car or truck less that I need to maintain. So hopefully it will be going. I will be getting some money that we can spend on other fun stuff. And with that said, that means that we will be going more with my truck here, Suburban. And what was I going to say here? Yeah, we had to do some small stuff on that, and it was actually a little bit fun because for whatever reason I checked this thing. We can go in and see information on our vehicles in an app, and I saw that on that day I bought this truck 8 years ago, 15th of February, which was this Saturday, exactly 8 years ago. So I had this thing for 8 years. That's amazing. I never keep things that long, but this truck means really much to me. My dad bought this thing brand new. It passed a few owners, but I managed to get it back, so I'm never selling it. I like it very much. So, but we're gonna spend some time with that. And also this weekend I was away and we bought this four-wheeler for my kids, and there's nothing special. It's a cheap China thing, but I have a wheel horse lawn mower yard tractor thing without an engine, and we're gonna convert it with this rear axle and that engine. And what I liked about this one is that it has a reverse gear, so that it will be easier for the kids to drive. We can put a plow on it or something. So that will be a project for another day. But anyway, gonna get started on the Blazer. But before we do that, I wanna do something. Since we sold the Chevelle and probably the Suburban, I gone ahead and spent some money on some new lights here into the garage, because that one is broken, this one is going out, the ones in the front I have already changed to this one. So before we do anything, I'm gonna go ahead, remove these, change to these instead. I mean, this is exactly where I work, so it will be a lot nicer to have some proper light. So let's go ahead, fix that, and then we can start working. Now we're all done. These 6 are now new and matches those 2 that I think I changed out last fall or something. But I've been really happy with the light fixtures I've had before, but they're getting older, 10 years. So let's see how this turns out. I've actually already cheated, but it's an enormous difference. It's like on an operating table now, considering what we had before. So this is really, really nice. And I have some plans when the spring comes and we get some nice warm weather. I'm going to make some installations to the tent so that I can turn on the lights in the tent. And also I'm going to put 2 of these fixtures in each of my container with the switch so that I can turn on the lights in there also, because now every time I go out there, I go out with my phone and you can't find anything. So yeah, but that will be in the spring. But anyway, we're not gonna talk too much about these, but I'm really happy with them. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up all this junk, and we can get to work on the Blazer. Garage is cleaned up, and I really want to get some parts on the back on the cab or truck so that we can get some more space in here, because it's really crowded right now. But anyway, we are back on where we were last week. We're gonna get that floor piece cut up so that it fits in here. We're gonna weld in that simultaneously as we weld in this piece, so all of that lines together. Gonna see how this is gonna fit, but it sits flush here in the bottom with the floor brace. I think it's in the ballpark right place. So yeah, gonna figure out how all of this is gonna go together. After a lot of back and forth and measuring, I think we are where we want to be. I have checked this lines up, it lines up like this. All of this seems to be lining up. We are at the floor brace lining up. Something I'm not really sure about is these two don't really match this flange, but it's aftermarket pieces. We can't focus on them too much, especially these floor pieces. I think they suck. But yeah, lines up here. We have to press it down here a little bit when we get so far. So this, what do you call it? Can't really remember what you call these, but these pressings or reinforcements, it is in the right place. Seems to be as the original one. We can see it's not exactly the right shape, but it is going over this piece a little bit, so we have to flatten it out a little bit. And also I flattened this one out. This one will be cut off. I'm gonna cut here, flatten this out since it is not on these floors, and then we're ready to weld in that. So I'm gonna go ahead, cut that, put on some welding primer, and weld all of this together. After a lot of back and forth, this thing is finally in. Everything is fully welded, and yeah, it's good. So we have added all of the strength back to this area. Now the cab won't sag over this. Obviously there's still pressure on this, but I lifted the body when I welded this. Also, I have tightened this a little bit tighter than it needs to be, so we have some play in it. So it's all good, and something that I like to do that I think is important is getting all of these to line up good. It is sitting flush against the floor from the floor brace, and same thing here in the front. So I think that looks, when you have some gaps, it looks really, really bad, in my opinion. So all of the spot welds are in, and I even used my proper spot welder to do here when I could. And the only thing that I messed up a little bit is here we have a little bit of a big gap. I cut this before I pushed this down because it had some tension in this. The bend wasn't right, so I had to smack it down, and obviously I stole some material down. So we have a bit of a gap here, but we can weld that. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna fully weld this right now. I will probably end up doing that. But all in all, this corner is, at least structurally, it's good again. So I'm not worried that the cab is going to fall over or anything. So with that done, we can continue making this strip, and then we unfortunately have to continue working backwards. But at least we have one of the issues fixed. So yeah, just gonna continue working. I've just had a lunch break here, and for some reason I always manage to finish my car deals when I'm having lunch. So today I got the full payment on the Suburban, which we talked about earlier. So it is paid, all done. He will pick it up maybe later today or tomorrow or something. But it is leaving, which is a bit sad. But with that being gone, there's two good things. And one is that I get some money to finish my upper floor, which obviously is really boring. Gonna buy some shower walls and some sink and a bunch of boring stuff. But when that is done, I can remove that from my head. I don't have to think about it, and that will leave me with less stress. And also we get rid of the Suburban, which I don't mind having that, but also that is one more vehicle that I don't have to think about, and yeah, that also gets stuff off my mind. So yeah, all in all, I think it's for a good cause that it is leaving. Also, we are approaching spring here rapidly. There's super nice weather here today. Obviously there's about a month before we can see some proper spring weather, but I see myself driving the El Camino this spring. We're gonna put that 4-cylinder diesel in it and have a cheap little daily driver. And obviously we have the Super B, maybe we can get that registered and drive with that. We have the 69 Chevy we can drive with. So even though the Suburban is leaving, we have a lot of fun stuff left. So yeah, it's a bit sad, but I don't mind it leaving. So with that said, we unfortunately have to tackle this. I haven't gotten anywhere, but I'm really ready to get rid of this thing. So we just get a power on. So I'm gonna see if I can whip up something to fill in this piece. Another piece in, and this is actually the piece that was good on that side that I cut off, and I folded that into so it fit with the floor piece. So that's all good, and obviously this shape is going to continue here, but I have actually found some pictures, or have taken pictures from a YouTube video where someone cut off their rocker boxes, but it wasn't as bad as this. And we can see that this goes to, I think it goes to here. This piece goes down like this, and this comes like a lid over that. And I'm not sure if we have some something left of that here, but to have something to go against, I want to start making this corner. And since we're basically going to have the exact measurements as this thing, this corner needs to be here on this thing. We need to make this corner. We can make this corner, or we know that this is going to be straight out of here. My plan is I'm gonna fix this little lip, then I'm gonna make a lip or a piece that goes to here and lines up with that, so that we have this lower piece, because I will never in a million years be able to make this from one piece. It's gonna be a multiple pieces, since it's basically one plate here, it folds down here, it folds in here, folds over here, and yeah, it's a mess. So if we have this whole corner, we have the basic shape, and then we can fill in everything in here. And also we obviously need to free up here. We have to replace this top panel, and obviously has to do some rust repair here on the inside. So we'll see how much we can cut off without this falling off, because I want to keep that in place. But I'm gonna try and make this outer line so that we have something to build from. Here we have this piece in place, and I tacked these pieces back together that I cut off to make this. But now we have this, it matches exactly with our inner piece, so that we can make our boxed floor here. And now, not that we're done, but we have a flange that this thing can come back to here and be welded to, and it will be as it's supposed to be. But obviously now we have to make like this sort of triangle piece here, then we can make some pieces folding down to these. Always have to make this bend. The worst thing is that it is rusty up here, which means that we have to remove some pieces here to fix this, and I can't remove too much because it is welded to this. It's not that wide, so I don't want it to fall off, because then we have nothing to attach to. So we'll see how we'll tackle this, but I think I'm gonna cut in here something. And when we have repaired this, we can obviously fix all of this. We can fix the last with the floor, we can fix the inner rocker, and we can actually put back our B-post, which would be fantastic. Obviously, we have to make this bracket also, and we can see that we have some reminiscence, or whatever that word is, and of this, and we have to remake this somehow. That is going to go down and weld to this piece. Unfortunately, I haven't found a good picture of how this bracket is supposed to look, so we have to figure something out. But anyway, we're on a good way to getting this thing done, and I really like that I did this thing because it gives me more of a feeling of how this is supposed to look. It's gonna be a lot of welding, unfortunately, but I can't make this in one piece. It's just not possible. So it has to be what it has to be. So gonna fix that tomorrow. And I mean, if we fix that and get the inner rocker and all that, I mean, we're gonna get very far tomorrow, I believe. And yeah, when we have done this, we can do the same thing to the other side, because I mean, we could get the post here and then we could start looking at the rear bed side, but obviously we need the floor first. And yeah, might as well fix the front half on the other side first. So that's the plan. But I was a bit overwhelmed this morning about this corner, but now I feel a lot better. Also, we could make the back part of the rocker box here when we have a lot of space, that piece right there, and have that done, and we can only make the bottom part later on, or we can even make the bottom part from up to here, and then we can make the front part is the hard part. So we'll see how we'll do about that. But unfortunately, that will be all I can do for today. I have to wait an hour here before I can go ahead and pick up my kids after welding. Maybe a little bit over, what do you call? I can't figure out the word, but I mean, I don't want my garage to burn down, so I don't want to leave any possibilities of a fire that I have missed. So I have to wait an hour, which unfortunately every day I pick up the kids will cost us an hour of work, at least work with welding and grinding. And these videos are obviously very short compared to what I normally do. And I mean, we haven't really achieved much here today, at least not in showable content. So I'm not sure if I can try to stretch the videos a little bit more. Otherwise, maybe I go down to 2 to 3 videos a week to maybe not make them so short and boring. I don't know. You can tell me if you have any ideas. But anyway, that will be all for today, and I will see you tomorrow.